Karibu tena mpenzi mtazamaji kwenye sehemu ya pili na ya mwisho ya Citizen Extra, makala au ni awamu ya Kiswahili. Tunaendelea kuletea matukio kadri yanavyojiri, na bila shaka hapa ndiko unakupata matukio hayo bila shaka moja kwa moja. Kwa sasa tunakuletea picha za moja kwa moja kutoka nyumbani kwake Kalonzo Musyoka, ambapo anatarajia kuhutubia wanahabari wakati wote kutoka sasa, kujibu tuhuma zile ambazo zinamkabili au zinakabili ile wakfu yake Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation, ambayo bila shaka hapo jana ilisimamishwa kwa muda kutokana na madai ya ufujaji wa fedha na utumizi mbaya wa fedha. Tusikilize anasemaje.
There's a lot of stress going on in our country at the moment, and I think Kenyans need to relax, even as they look forward to dealing with these landmark issues that are coming, culminating as they do with the August 8th election. I called you because everybody has a place they call home. And they have a place they have people they call family. And when you attack the family, then it doesn't look good at all. That is literally called hitting below the belt. For the first time I'll introduce my son Kennedy, because he already hit the headlines in the Standard I think about March the 1st, and confessed, really confirmed he's a secretary of the Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation. I'm also the patron, and indeed my wife is a CEO. And we have Mrs. Martha Kasanga Mulwa. She is a renowned educationist, wife to the late Justice Kasanga Mulwa, and she serves as the treasurer of the foundation. The foundation has helped to educate, apart from anything else, close to 2,000, maybe over 2,000 young Kenyans, mainly those from disadvantaged backgrounds. And we were looking, initially started as a bursary for Mwingi, Kitui North, and Mwingi North, a bursary fund, which was separate from what the government normally would give. And our main supporter basically was the church in Cyprus, through a very good friend of mine called Bishop Chrysostomos of Kityon. He has visited this country many times, and they were the ones, the main supporters of the bursary fund, and they continue to do so up to today. As a result of which, young men and women who could otherwise not have managed to go to high school and to university are benefited. If it was not for this political situation in the country, I think I was invited to join with some of the beneficiaries at the foundation offices, so that the country can see that one of the things you can do for your fellow man and woman is to develop their capacity. In fact, it's so important to me that it is more important than even building a road, because when you empower a fellow Kenyan to realize their full potential, they'll be able to build many roads and all kinds of infrastructure going forward. So it has come to me as a very disheartening thing to see the foundation being besmirched, my own personality being muddied around. But I want to tell you that nothing will shake us. Nothing can shake my resolve to bring the kind of change I believe this country needs. Not even the threat of being charged with money laundering. I can tell you, between you and me, and if you want to check, I think the dollar account, because people are allowed to open foreign denominated accounts in this country, it is not illegal. You go to any bank, you can open a foreign denominated account or a Kenya shilling account. Yeah? And sometimes, in fact, some of the banks prefer to lend in foreign currency because of the high interest rate normally that is charged a Kenya shilling account. But I think the account has just about $3,000. Now, $3,000 and the Kenya shilling account, I keep on replenishing myself from my own resources so that what my wife has been doing, paying school fees for these kids, does not stop. I've never had a situation where Mr. Fasul Mohammed, the Executive Director, so-called, of NGO Coordination Council, can freeze accounts without a court order. That's number one. And I also want to say I'm yet to be served, or the foundation is yet to see the letter that was done yesterday and copied to all the media houses. And I want to thank the many Kenyans who participated on, when I arrived from Mombasa late last night, I saw on KTN people being asked whether or not they thought this was political persecution. And a lot of them, overwhelming majority, said, yes, this is all politics. But I therefore want to urge we separate politics from NGOs that are so well-meaning. This was one aspect, bursary fund, which of course then we moved it, cascaded from being a constituency bursary fund to a national bursary fund, as a result of which 3 years ago I think, 4 years, we send over 40 young Kenyans from all parts of the country. Remember, somebody from Kisii, somebody from Bondo, and others who are interviewed competitively. 20 plus young people went to study in universities in Cyprus through the efforts of the foundation. You can even call that the second airlift after that of the late Tom Joseph Mboya. And these are young men and women who have since come back, and they are doing the best to build their country. So to besmirch a foundation which is committed to lifting people out of poverty, and whenever drought situations arise, my wife was all over the country helping people with famine relief. She would literally go knocking on the doors of people. I think she was number 2 to Abbas Mohammed of Red Cross, asking people, listen, we cannot allow people to die. Hata kama ni kilo moja sukari ama mfutata, peana watu wasife njaa. That was another way the foundation has worked. I saw mention of some 50 million shillings from China Youth Development Fund. This came, yes indeed, and the 50 million shillings was given as a dummy check, work to be done through the foundation. But what our Chinese friends did was they brought all the materials, for the 5 or 4 primary schools. One in Mheshimiwa Musila's constituency, as it then was, Mwingi South, and then the other 3, I think in Mwingi North. And the Chinese brought the materials, constructed everything themselves. There's one at Wikiduki Primary School. People can go there and see those Chinese materials which are used at that particular time. And because kuna mchwa sana, I think the school was not looking glorious. There's another one, a place called Mandongoi, and there's another one at a school called Muvungwe. I think there's another primary school. There are 4. And I think they also gave some support to schools in Kisii through Professor Ongeri, who was then the Minister for Education. So when people concoct stories in order to spoil our image, I think they should know that we have a capacity to stand for what is true, what is fair, what is correct, what is just. So, one Mr. Fasul Mohammed wrote the following letter. This is the only letter I have. The other one, which is dated yesterday, we are yet to receive because it was served to the media first. So even if it has the original copy, please give it to us. But on April 10th, he wrote to the foundation. This is CEO Fasul Mohammed, Executive Director. We write with the reference to the above captioned subject matter and further to the compliance notice dated March 1st. That's the one that the Standard initially carried, and I think that that is subject to some libel action on a separate note. We have reviewed your submissions in response to above-mentioned compliance notice, namely, A, submissions towards the regularization of bank accounts held and operated under the Foundation, board minutes approving the accounts, a list of the bank accounts detailing the bank name, branch, account numbers and signatories to these accounts. B, certified bank statements for accounts operated under the Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation from 1st January 2010 to 28th February 2017. C, funding agreements for projects undertaken between 1st January 2010 and 28th February 2017. D, submissions from your auditor, Mrs. Victor Mutisia and Company, clarifying discrepancies noted during the review of your annual returns for the years ended December 2010-2015. These are very normal accounting procedures. If they detect a discrepancy, the auditor can clarify. Our records have thus been duly updated, and the following statement then ensued. We therefore wish to inform you that the Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation is now compliant with the NGO Coordination Act 1990, the attendant regulations, and terms and conditions of registration. Yours sincerely, Fasul Mohammed, Executive Director, dated 10th April this year. Now I want you to ask with me what has happened between 10th of April and May. Is it the 2nd? Yesterday. May. 2nd, yes. 2nd of May. Yesterday. Then you can now see the mischief. So I thought this is important, so Kenyans can see this for what it is, right? And of course this is Office of the President, NGOs Coordination Board. One of the things I would recommend going forward is the NGO Coordination Board should really be an independent body, because at a time like this, I'm quite sure there are people who met, and I even know where they met, right, and decided to come up with this letter. I mean the one I'm here to receive. So naona tu niseme hayo before I come to the political issues as well, kwamba hakuna ubaya wote. Mimi nimeona yale ambayo amenukuliwa kwa vyombo vya habari juu ya Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation. Nataka niwahakikishe wananchi wa Kenya kwamba foundation haina makosa yote, iko na uwazi ambao unatakikana, na kwa hivyo watu wasiwe wakachanganya mambo haya, ambao foundation ni imesukumwa sana na familia yangu, vijana wangu na mke wangu ambao wamejitolea kabisa kusaidia wale ambao hawajiwezi katika nchi yetu. Mke wangu anajulikana kwa vile alikuwa anatembea kila mahali, ameweza kutembea wakati nchi inapatwa na janga la njaa kama sasa. Alikuwa mstari wa mbele na bado anajaribu kuona vile anaweza kuwasaidia, hasa tukiangalia vile hali ya anga ilivyo wakati huu. Haya mengine yote ni porojo za kisiasa, na watu wanatafuta waone wanaweza kumpaka matope vipi Kalonzo Musyoka. Na mimi nitarudia, mimi sio mtu wa kutishwa, mimi sitingiziki, nikichukua msimamo nachukua msimamo. Kwa hivyo mambo haya haina maana kabisa, haina maana. Nataka niulize kwa heshima wenzetu ambao wanaketi, na nimefuatilia sana, bado nafuatilia mambo haya, ni juu ya ofisi ambayo inahusika na mambo haya. Nataka niseme mimi nadhani, kwa maoni yangu, Rais Uhuru Kenyatta hawezi kuhusika na mambo kama haya, lakini wale wako chini yake pale ndio wenye mambo haya. Na tutapambana tu, tutapambana. Na mimi in fact wametupa motisha ya kupambana hata zaidi, kwa sababu ikiwa nchi inaweza kuongozwa na walagai, mtu kama huyu leo anaandika hiki, kesho anawekwa bunduki juu ya kichwa ambiwa andika ingine, ama vitu kama hivyo. Sijui huyu Fasul Mohammed ni mtu aina gani. But yesterday I spoke to Mr. Charles Toh, whom I appointed director of the NGO Coordination Board when I was the Vice President. And he assures me, first of all, there is no board called the NGO Coordination Board. It's a one-man show. Mtu ambaye hata papers hana. And I think Kenyans should take this guy for who he is. This particular fellow. Whom does he work for? Because then I think if Jubilee have an enemy, it is this person. Because Kenyans can see through this victimization, political persecution. Yeah? Kwa hivyo basi ngoja tuone, tuangalie tuone itakuwaje. We have not been served with any court order. You cannot freeze accounts without a court order. That's a fact. But we are not going to take this lying down. We will fight. A very good example of what Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation has been able to do is my own assistant. He's not here. We left in Mombasa, Kevin Katisia. Was brought to my wife by his grandmother. A young man being taken to go to Mangu. He had nothing. And he was taken from there until I found him at the master's class at the University of Nairobi, masters in law. And there are others like him. Wale wengine ambao nimetaja ambao wamewahi kwenda kusoma ng'ambo, vyuo vikuu aswa nchi ya Cyprus. Na nashukuru sana wafisadi wa I was going to say wafisadi wafadhili ambao tunafanya kazi pamoja nao juu ya mambo hayo. Kuna uwazi sasa hivi, ile hela ambazo ziko katika account hata sio nyingi, na kwa hivyo kama wana freeze it is terrible, na kama wanaumiza, lakini we will not allow them to do it. If there is any law in this country and if there's any justice left anywhere in the corridors of justice, then this is a clear matter of saying no. These are state excesses and they must be stopped. Kama kuna swali mtu anaweza kujibu, and then I can go to the next agenda item. I've asked the Nesmas to give you copies of this letter, and therefore ask yourselves, compare this letter with what is already published, and tell me whose story do we believe. The same man writes two different stories. In fact, I think he should resign and go home in shame and apologize to Kenyans for being such a character. Kwa hivyo ni vibaya sana kusema office of the president. Vitu kama hivi lazima vitolewe, viweko kando, independent offices. Because sasa inaonekana watu watakuwa wakitumiwa kwa mambo yao ya kibinafsi. Kama walikuwa kidhani Kalonzo anaweza akabanduka, akatishwa, akaogopa, basi wao watastaajabu bado, kwa sababu wakati wa mabadiliko ni sasa. So there is no question about it. Yeah, yes sir. Masuku, kwanza wewe ndio ulinipigia. I thank you for alerting me. I thought you were dreaming. No, I haven't. I don't know, but I suspect. I suspect the president has nothing to do with it. I suspect. Yeah. Nimesema those guys below him. Yeah? Watu wake hao below him. And they know themselves, and they know we know them. So, wacha tuone ni kina nani. Tunawajua. Nitawafichua by the way. Yeah. I think they're trying to intimidate. It's clearly a work of intimidation. Oh, of course, when I was declared the deputy, or like the running mate of Tinga in NASA, yeah, obviously they think they must, and I'm quite sure it's not just me. I'm sure everybody at Tapata, if this is what they could come up with, then God help them. And I'm sure He will not help people like this, whose intentions are evil, wickedness. Kuna mtu alipeana instructions, and we know them.
I'm looking at this letter.
Yes.
This September 2017.
Correct.
And the one issued yesterday, the 2nd of May.
Yeah. Where is the anti-money? Francis, where is the anti-money laundering there? And they're even threatening to charge me. I want them to come and arrest me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does it have anything to do with what was meaning the local domain that is an attempt to kick you out, use NASA. Maybe this was
I'm not aware of any such attempt. Attempt in the air? Did they send you to me? I'm not aware. I'm not aware of any attempt. You know, a lot of things go on, eh? Attempt ya kunifanya nini? To move to Jubilee. To do what in Jubilee? Bolt out of NASA. That is clear intimidation. The intention, I think I leave it to your best speculation. Let me put it that way. Sorry?
Why not your other colleagues?
Maybe their turn is coming. I would encourage them. Oh, it is coming, for sure. I think they started with me, Raila himself at Akipata. But nothing will deter us from remaining and holding solid so that we can deliver this country. Yeah.
Connecting your statement, you are saying that the president and you are saying this partly is politics. So, and to whose benefit?
Did you say I'm suspecting the president? I thought Francis said I'm trying to exonerate him.
You are saying you're suspecting.
Because I think this, I'll be shocked if the President of the Republic can give instructions on a matter as straightforward as this. Because the presidents the world over are best briefed. But having said, we know the people who are driven by vendetta. He is number two and his people. Vendetta. And we'll deal with them. Vendetta people. So I'm not really exonerating him, but I will be shocked, really shocked, if President Uhuru Kenyatta has something to do with wanting to besmirch a family and a foundation, not a big foundation. Of course, the other work of this foundation is peacemaking, and that is why I was given the recognition at the UN last year, yeah, because of the work of this foundation, and people are able to see whether they are dealing with rogues, because it's very easy now to do your own due diligence on any issue. Okay? So that's the second pillar, and I think the work of the foundation is well set.
My question is, why do people want to challenge Kalonzo then? Because he joined Raila as running mate, yet they are not even part of the people who are going for the presidency, like President Uhuru, who you are saying not be.
But his deputy is running, isn't he? Yeah. And we know the people with vendetta in this country. All right. So who are the others? Any other question?
Another allegation that was leveled against the foundation was that they have not been filing returns. Is it possible to say from...
Look at that letter. Read it, Francis.
Yeah, I'm saying
yeah.
It's possible now to be a bit more clearer. This is the amount of money that we have been so far from donors, because one of the explanations is diversion of donor funds. It's possible to say this is the amount of money that we have received.
I think I am yet to check on that, Francis, but all the money, basically, for the scholarship, for the foundation's bursary account, yeah, over the period, because these people have been sending about 200,000 shillings after every 3 or 4 months, cannot even be in excess of 50 million since 2000, and I don't think it can be in excess of even 20 million. All right. So this figure about 196 million, I don't know, 100 and it's amazing. It's all created, and you can see the mischief. They want to say it was meant for work in Ukambani, because that's why they want to spoil the votes, yeah, get votes for themselves. That's the only assumption, yeah, that it's in Ukambani, and that foundation is national. It is not just for Kitui, Machakos, and Makueni. So they want now to say, oh, their monies that Kalonzo received to support Nyinyi na alikula. Yeah. I think Kenyans know me better than that. But thank you, those are fictitious, cooked up numbers. And if they're facts, let them prove them. Yeah. I've dealt with the 50 million that they, and all of it based on what I think I've seen on social media, and what I think you guys have been able to report. But to want to charge somebody with the crime of money laundering, that's a serious matter. waje saa hizi na pingu. Kuna mtu mwingine? Thank you. Now the next bit. The next agenda is I'm happy to have a minority leader in the National Assembly, Mheshimiwa Francis Nyenze, Mheshimiwa Judy Sijeni, Senator Judy Sijeni. As you know, she is the Deputy Secretary General of Wiper Democratic Movement. And we have, of course, Governor Kivutha Kibwana, Wiper candidate for Makueni County gubernatorial contest. And we also have Mheshimiwa Makali. Mheshimiwa Makali is the chair of the Kitui Caucus. Is it Kitui Ukambani Caucus? Kitui Caucus of members of parliament. We have the Honorable Major Muluvi. And by the way, that young man is the one who acts as the officer running the foundation affairs, James Matiki, and of course Kennedy. Right. So the issue here is that Honorable Francis Nyenze has received a lot of negative media because of stating what he believed. What he believed is that I should have been the NASA flag bearer. He was completely entitled to that. And therefore I want to urge all our supporters, because they must remember Honorable Francis Nyenze is even unopposed as a Wiper candidate for Kitui West. So I don't want a gentleman I have known for so long and such a wonderful friend, being besmirched. Watu wanauliza kwa mitandao, thank you for calling Francis Nyenze. Do you know what Nyenze means? I want to tell you, Wakamba ni watu ajabu. Wakitaka mtoto akizaliwa wa kwanza anakufa, wa pili anakufa, the mother normally wants to give the third kid jina ambalo the evil spirits will not be interested in. So if you hear Mkamba called Mbiti, that's the name for hyena. I think it's the same with Wakishi, anasema Kikuyu anaita nyangao. Nyangao. So that does not make him a hyena. Therefore the name Nyenze does not make him a cockroach. So I'm here to plead so that there's order in our movement, Wiper Democratic Movement, to assure Kenyans that Honorable Francis Nyenze expressed his belief, and he may have lost out. But you know, sometimes it's good to take a strategic move back. And I want to assure Mheshimiwa Francis Nyenze nothing has gone wrong. We have decided to move on, and I think you'll be the one to love. After all, our own brother Raila Odinga has said he's a transitional president. When he gets elected, he'll be transitional for 5 years. And we are not fools. We have made it clear what is going to happen thereafter. So I think it is good, and it does show that we are selfless. We want to move on and to get this country going. So Honorable Francis Nyenze, I want to thank you for standing with me, and I want to ask our people to stand with you and to stop this social media abuse, because he basically said, you know, he must have been very frustrated. I know him, very frustrated, and therefore he didn't even come to Uhuru Park because of that frustration. There are lots of people. A young lady from Meru called me and said, allow me to mourn for 1 week before I accept your decision. All right? But we really must get on. People were hurt. It's not an easy decision. And as I've said, even said at Uhuru Park, I was ready. I was ready to take on the flag and be able to drive Jubilee home. And you see, we have all the reasons to drive Jubilee home, literally. Yeah? Me to go to his constituency right now, and nauliza watu wa Kitui West, mshikilie huyu ndugu kabisa kwa sababu ameshikilia mimi, and this is important for me, and I'll do the same for all my candidates. In fact, mimi kitu ambacho nitafanya, wale macandidate wa Wiper popote walipo Kenya hii, I will try and reach out to each one of them. Kama ni MCA sanza kina mama, huyu she's running here, Langata, where we are, this is our constituency. Senator Judy Sijeni, yeah, she's running, and you know, our party takes a view that we must at least have 50-50 approach when it comes to gender. So where there are women candidates on Wiper ticket, I want to actually say our hearts will also be there to try and help them, because we don't want to. We must break this male domination in our political landscape. So Judy, we also wish you well. Major Muluvi here is a Wiper candidate for Kitui East. Mheshimiwa Makali here is actually a doctor qualified from Kenyatta University. He is a Wiper candidate for Kitui Central. He was unopposed, so these people got direct nominations, and so did Governor Professor.
Na mpenzi mtazamaji, bila shaka ni Kalonzo Musyoka hapo akizungumzia masuala kadhaa, kubwa zaidi likiwa ni kumjibu Fazul Mohamed, yule anayeongoza bodi inayofuatilia shughuli za mashirika yasiyokuwa ya kiserikali. Kumbuka bodi hiyo imesitisha shughuli za Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation na kusimamisha akaunti zote kutokana na madai kwamba foundation hiyo imekuwa ikifuja fedha za wafadhili. Vile vile amezungumzia masuala ya NASA na kumtetea Francis Nyenze, akisema kwamba vyombo vya habari vimekuwa vikimwakisi kwa ubaya, lakini Nyenze amekuwa akielezea msimamo wake. Citizen Extra awamu ya Kiswahili inakatikia hapo kwa sasa, na mpisha mwenzangu Fred Ndimule ambaye atakuwa anakuletea matangazo ya Citizen Live at 1 kwa Kiingereza. Mimi nitakuwa nawe hapo saa 10 tena kwenye alasiri. Kwa sasa nakutakia mchana mwema, kwaheri.